Yeah, slightly. Says Imam, come up a little forward. تفضل شيخ. Calling you first. May Allah bless you. طيب, you guys ready? Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
طيب, بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending the salutations upon the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam, and upon his family, his companions, and upon all those who follow upon his guidance to the establishment of the last day, to proceed. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وربنا زدنا علما والحمد لله رب العالمين. Oh Allah, we ask that you teach us that which will benefit us, and that you benefit us with that which you have taught us, and that you increase all of us upon knowledge, and all the praise belongs to Allah, the Lord of all the world. طيب, نواصل إن شاء الله تعالى معكم في هذه الليلة المباركة الكريمة عونا من الرحمن الرحيم. So we continue in this blessed and noble night of ours, seeking the aid and the assistance of our Lord, the most merciful and the most compassionate. مستفيدين ومتعلمين من علم اللغة من علم اللغة, as we continue to learn and educate ourselves, deriving benefit from the science of the Arabic language. The science of the Arabic language. فلجميعكم الآن والحمد لله الكتاب أو نسخة من الPDF. فالحمد لله. So everyone has either the book or the PDF version of the book. والحمد لله رب العالمين. طيب, فقبل أن ماذا توقفنا كان علينا أن نحفظ بعض الكلمات. So before we took our small little break, unfortunately, we were trying to memorize some of the vocabulary words from the first chapter. فمن حفظ جميع الكلمات. So who had the honor to memorize all of the vocabulary? ما شاء الله. ما اسمك أنت؟ وش name يا أخي؟ Elijah. الله أكبر. الشيخ also.
I wouldn't know until I got this.
You won't know yet? إن شاء الله. طيب. من حفظ نصفها. Who memorized half of the words? Majority. الله أكبر. طيب. فالآن سنراجع قليلا. So let's have a small review. إن شاء الله. وأنتم ماذا تغفلون الكتاب. Close your books إن شاء الله تعالى. سنراجع. We're going to review إن شاء الله تعالى. طيب, بدون النظر. No looking at your books. شيخ يوسف, اقلب كتابك. Close your book. طيب, أنا أقولها بالعربية وأنتم تقولونها بالإنجليزية. So I'm going to say it in Arabic, you translate. I'll say it in Arabic, you translate. نمشي يمينا يمينا. We're going to go from right to left. We'll start from the right. So my right, we're going to go like this. طيب. الكلمة الأولى, first word, باب. I'll say it in Arabic, you say it in English. باب. Good. بيت. ما شاء الله. This is your first class. لا بأس. رجل. ما شاء الله. ولد. ما شاء الله. امرأة. We have this word here? No, امرأة. طيب. بحر. لعلك كنت غائبا. I don't know if you were here or no. What's your name يا شيخ? خليفة. ما شاء الله. بحر. You know this word? Elijah, bahrun, close. Ocean or sea. A river, sometimes in this book, يا إخوان, أنا قلت لكم قبل أحيانا سنغير الترجمة. Sometimes we're going to differ with the author. If we're allowed to differ, we're going to differ with the author. We're going to translate. We're going to change some of the translations. فأحيانا يظهر له أو لنا منه أنه ليس من العرب. Because sometimes the author shows us that he's not an Arab. So that's okay. We're not Arabs either. Alhamdulillah. So we're going to change some of his translations. So he says, Bahar is a river. But technically, Bahar is an ocean or a sea. So remember that, ya ikhwan. Bahar is not a river. It's actually a sea, or you could say ocean. Ocean or a sea. In the Quran, al-muradu, ocean or sea. Like Bahrain, the two oceans. طيب. نهر. نهر.
That was C, but I guess that's wrong.
لا لا لا.
C?
Close. So Nahar is a river. Bahar, he has sea. Sea is correct. Sea or ocean. But Nahar, it should be a river. That's more accurate. So Bahar, ocean or sea, a vast piece of water. So that's a Bahar. You can say ocean, you can say sea. Nahar is it's a river. You can also say a spring, something small piece of water. Naharun is a river, Bahrun is an ocean or sea. Yusuf, Kitabun. Kitabun. Kitab.
I just turned my alphabet while you were gone.
Al-Quran Kitabun. The Quran is a book. طيب, our sister, Shayun. Shayun. It's a drink. Yushrab fi sabah is usually drank in the morning.
Me too.
Close. Not coffee, but tea. Shayun tea. Let's go back around. Fala. Everything is overseas. Everything is shaker. That's what they drink a lot. Shay. That's tea. I just say with the vowels. Shy. If you stop, remember, ya ikhwan, we mentioned that last time. إذا نتوقف في آخر الكلمة أو نقرأها كاملة لا بأس المعنى الصواب. If you don't pronounce the vowels, if you stop on the last letter, or you pronounce the last vowel, it's the same meaning. So I pronounce all the vowels. So I'll say shayun. But you say shy, you just didn't say the dhamma. Same meaning. T. Shayun or shy if you don't pronounce the vowels. طيب قهوة. Coffee. Shy is tea. Qahwa is coffee. Qahwa sounds just like that. That one is easy, ikhwan. Sounds like coffee. طيب. النيل. النيل. The Nile River in Africa. النيل. طيب. كبير. Big. صغير. Sheikh Abdul Wali. صغير. Small. Good. قديم. Oh, good. Next. جديد. الشيخ على جنبك. The one on الشيخ on your side. جديد. هذا الدرس جديد. This class is fairly new. Small, but new. Inshallah, not small and benefit. That's the most important. علاجه. طيب. طويل. Good. قصير. طويل. Tall or long. قصير. Try it again. قصير. لا بأس. يوسف قصير. قصير. لا بأس. Our sister قصير. قصير. Close. تقربتي. Close. Not small but short. Short. أي نعم. قصير. حسن.
Hasanu.
Mm.
Good.
Good. Could be a person's name. Could be someone that's handsome. طيب. مكسور. 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 Elijah. مكسور. MashaAllah. I sent. First one to use that phrase. Allahu Akbar. مكسور. MashaAllah. مكسور is broken. Broken. طيب. واسع. واسع. هذا المسجد واسع. Wide. Good. Or broad. Wide or broad. All of them are synonyms. Wide, broad, vast. ضيق. واسع. Wide or broad or vast. ضيق. 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 هذا الثوب ضيق. Narrow, tight, restricted. You say له ضيق الفهم. He has a narrow mind. You tell him the hadith is there. My imam didn't say that. His mind is restricted, narrow. He's not open in his insight. طيب. نبدأ إن شاء الله تعالى على صفحة 25. For all those that have the book, turn to page 25. Page 25. فقرأنا بعض هذه الجمل. So we read some of these sentences, alhamdulillah. ولعلنا توقفنا عند الخامسة. And perhaps we stop at sentence number 5. Perhaps we stop at sentence number 5. فقال الباب قديم. So the author says, sentence number 5. Number 5. You should have الباب قديم. If I make an error, somebody correct me. The book should have number 5. باب قديم. الباب قديم. That's not right. Number 5 in Arabic. From Arabic to English, you should have باب الباب قديم. I'm right or wrong? Remember in Arabic, ماذا نبدأ من يمين إلى اليسار. So the numbers are going to come from the yameen to the. So we're going to go from right to left. So it's the opposite of English. So the numbers are going to be before the sentence. In the Quran, depending on what script. In the script, yes. In the Quran, the Uthmani script, the verse comes, then the number. But here, it's just going to be in the front. طيب. طيب. So you should have al-babu qadim. Man yutarjim. Who can translate? The door is old. Al-babu qadim. The door is old. Elijah qadimun. Tarjim. Translate. MashaAllah. طيب, write this word down, ya ikhwan. First word of tonight. First word of tonight for homework. I want you to write this word down. Tarjama. 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 To translate. This is my little meme. My little fancy meme, ya ikhwan. Tarjama. Our first word for tonight. Tarjama. Tarjama. Tarjama means to translate. Tarjama. First word of tonight, we write our words. Kam marra. How many times, Yusuf? 10 times. That's okay. 10 times. We'll make it 10 times for 3 months, and then we'll do what we want to do later. When I see that I'm not going to chase you guys away, we'll give you some more than 10. I didn't want to say 50 times our first month. Nobody's going to come back to class. So 10 times. Tarjama means to translate or he translated. In English, you're always going to say two. To do it or he did it. Every verb. كل فعل تعلمناه علينا أن نفهمه من وجهين. Every verb, pay attention. Every verb we learn. When you translate the verb, you're going to look at it from two angles. To do it or he did it. To do it or he did it. So tarjama means to translate or he translated. Every verb, I want you to do it like that. To do it or he did it. So tarjama means to translate. To translate or he translated. طيب. To translate or he translated. So it's our first new word today. ترجمة means to translate. فعندما أقول لكم ترجم, so when I say to you ترجم, I'm telling you to translate. So when I said Elijah, ترجم, what did I say? Translate. So ترجمة means to translate. So you're going to go home tonight. عندما نرجع إلى بيوتنا نكتب هذه الكلمة 10 مرات. When we go back home, we're going to write this word 10 times. ونقولها عندما نكتبها. And I want you to say it while you're writing. Don't be like those brothers who write when they get home and it's right. Their mind is not there. No, you're not going to memorize it like that. While you're writing it, say it. ترجمة to translate. ترجمة to translate. ترجمة to translate. Sounds redundant. But once you understand the word, you don't have to keep saying English all the time either. Say the first 5. ترجمة to translate. English also. ترجمة to translate. Once you got it, you don't have to keep bringing the English also. As long as you understand what it means. Good question. We'll come back to that one, inshallah. Fadali. Our sister. Our sister's saying it. Can we write it in black? We sure can. Maybe the red is too light. You're going to write Tauru. Our brother says, I don't hear a fatha on the ra. Because it's not. It's a sukoon. Tauru. We mentioned some time ago, the ra. There are 2 ways to pronounce the ra. أحيانا مفخم. Sometimes the ra, most times the ra is heavy. So we're stopping on it, but you still hear the ra. It's still going to be heavy. Tauru, jama. Tauru, jama. No. Tauru, jama means whose turn? To translate. Allahu Akbar. طيب. تفضل.
Do you proper grammar to roll the R?
طيب. I'll give you one of my favorite reciters. وأنا لا أقول هذا لأنني في مسجدكم. هذا رأيي حقا. And I'm not saying this because I'm in your masjid. This is how I feel. One of my favorite reciters is our Imam. فعندما ينطق بصريح وبالوضوح. فعندما نسمع يمكننا أن نكتب مباشرة خلفه. وهذا نادر. When our Imam is leading the prayer, for example, if you know your letters, you can write behind him. And that's rare. We have people that recite the Quran, and you can say, oh, that was a ta there. Oh, that's a ta. That was a wow. So he recites clearly. So at any rate, one of the most difficult things in Arabic, especially when someone is speaking, is to hear the clarity. Because Arabic is fast. It's fast. At any rate, so some of the letters is fast. Sometimes it's going to be, that's more like a grammatical, not really grammatical issue. That's more like in tajweed, for example. Grammatical is usually what's the function of the word in that sentence. That's the grammar points, for example. Grammatically, this is the mubtada. This is the subject. Grammatically, this is the khabar, but it has nothing to do with pronunciation. Grammar is the usage of the word in the jumla, in the sentence. But reciting the word, that's more like pronunciation, or you can say tajweed or so. طيب, والله أعلم. طيب, ترجمة, to translate. So when I say to you, ترجم, what I'm saying is translate. طيب, Yusuf, what's the meaning of ترجم? ترجمة, to translate. طيب. Another benefit, whenever you have a question, تعلمنا تعبيرا واحد. So we learned one phrase last week. When we don't know, what do we say? لا أدري. We also learned, what's another way we learned to say it? If I don't know, we learned لا أدري and إلاجة لست أدري. لا أدري or لست أدري. فيا إخوان أنا أقول لكم تعليم العربية في أمريكا صعب جدا. To learn any language, especially Arabic in America, is hard. لأن لا نسمع العربية كثيرا وما عندنا أشخاص يتكلمون بها كثيرا. Because you don't hear Arabic a lot. Most of the masajid, you go to them, everything is English, English, English. The Jumu'ah, English. The class is English. The brothers and sisters to one another, English, English, English. Then we go home, English. We at work, English. We out front, English. Everything is English. فمتى نتعلم العربية? So when am I going to learn Arabic? So now we have to be more, we have to use more diligence. We have to be more keen and give more of ourselves because we are at a disadvantage already. We're starting the race and I only got my uniform on yet. My sneaks are in the locker room. So I'm already at a disadvantage. So what do? You have to be more diligent. You learn a word, if you don't use it in America, you're going to lose it. You guys with me?
Yes. You say laugh for empty.
Now you can also say, our Sheikh has given us another phrase. We'll add that today too. Ma fahimt or ma fahimtu. Now this is I don't understand. That's a tremendous one to learn also. At any rate, what's the benefit of the phrases if I don't use them? So I want you to go back to our conditions to join our class. إذا نعلم الشيء أو نستفيد من شيء نستخدمه. إن استطعنا إليه سبيلا. Whatever we learn to the best of our abilities, especially in Arabic, we're going to have to try to do it. We're going to have to try to use it. If you write the word 100 times and you never use it, it's not going to stick with you. It's impossible. Writing is just to help you memorize it. It's not the goal. The goal is to memorize it. Writing it is just a wasila, a how. Recording is a wasila. Writing is a wasila. It's not the goal. The goal is you memorize. You can memorize any way you want. The method, but the goal is that you memorize it. So whenever you don't know, I want you to say la adri or lastu adri. Another phrase we have for today, you can say ma fahimtu. Ma fahimtu. Ma fahimtu. Now this one is slightly different, but we could benefit from that also. Ma fahimtu. I don't comprehend. I don't understand what you're saying. Ma fahimtu. I don't know. I can know what you're saying, but it's not making sense to me. It's not clear to me. I don't know, or I don't understand. I don't understand. Ma fahimt. Ma fahimt. This is my meme. Ma fahimtu. I don't understand. Ma fahimtu. I'll say it, you say it. I'll say it, you say it. Ma fahimtu. Ma fahimtu. Ma fahimtu. Ma fahimtu. You can also say la. You can change this ma to a la. La fahimtu. But in the past tense, the ma is used the most. This is a past tense verb. We'll get there later. You can use the la and the ma. But used in the madi, in the past tense, the ma is used more. No. So you can say ma fahimtu. Right? I'll say you say it. Ma fahimtu. ما فهمت. طيب ما فهمت by yourself. Good. Sheikh Abdul Wali. Good. Our new Sheikh.
ما فهمت.
Good.
ما فهمت.
Good.
ما فهمت.
Good. Good.
ما فهمت.
Good. 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 Allah Akbar. طيب نمشي إن شاء الله. Let's continue. Who can read sentence number 7? البيت جميل. I'm going to take away ya ikhwan. I don't have a lot of space. Number 7. MashaAllah, our sentence. Number 7 or 6? Number 6 should be. Number 6. You should have البيت جميل. البيت جميل. طيب البيت جميل. The house is beautiful. The house is beautiful. طيب الجملة تتكلم عن ماذا? The sentence is talking about what? The beauty or the house? The house. فالموضوع البيت. So the subject is the house. So it's the mubtada, the subject. We'll get to that later, inshallah. فالجميل خبر. Jamil is the thing that complete the meaning of the house, not describe it, completes it. So the house is beautiful. The house is beautiful. طيب السابعة, number 7. Who can read number 7? نار قصير. Number 7. نهر or نار? Sukoon or alif? Good. Read it one more time. Good. نهر قصير. Good. نهر قصير. طيب تعلمنا قبل أهمية الشكل. We learned before the importance of wind or the importance of the shapes. فبينا مرادنا بشكل. And we mentioned, what do we mean when we say shape? من يذكر? Who remembers? The adjective, descriptive. طيب also the shape of the word. هل يوجد ألف ولام على الأولى وألف ولام على الثاني أم لا? Does the first word have ألف ولام, for example here, and the second one does? No. So they differ. So one is the mubtada, one is the khabar. If they agree, ألف ولام, no. ألف ولام, no. Tanween, yes. Tanween, yes. So they agree. So now the second word is a describer of the first. So naharun qasirun can only be a short river. A short river. Naharun qasirun, a short river. They agree. Tanween, tanween. And the second, they didn't agree. Alif lam, tanween. They don't agree. Alif lam, tanween. Second, they agree. Tanween, tanween. So naharun, a river. Qasirun, a short river. A short river. طيب, who can read it? التي بعده. Next sentence. Whose turn? تفضل Elijah. البحر الضيق. البحر الضيق. Number 8. تفضل. Continue. Read them together. MashaAllah. Now change your ta. It sounds like you said a ta at the end. Change your ta to a qaf. Read it one more time. Good. So now our sheikh is reciting it the best. We didn't get to there yet, but we'll mention it because our sheikh mentioned it. طيب. Al-bahru. Stop. Al-dayiqu. Now if you say it together, which is the best, you don't pause. You can pause, but it's better that you don't pause. And you say al-bahru, and you join this ra to this, go past the alif lam and go to the bod. So you're going to say it like as one word from the ra. Urub, urub. That's the best. Our shaykh is a little advanced. Right? We're on our beginner level. So that's the best. That you read it together. Al-bahru dayiqu. From the ra, al-bahru. Go right from the ra to the ba. Ruh, ruh, rub, rub, dayiqu. But we'll get to that later, inshallah. We just mentioned it because Ashik mentioned it.
So that's a yeah after the dog.
Yes. طيب البحر الضيق من يترجمها? Who can translate? The narrow sea. The narrow sea. البحر الضيق. The best. Say it together. البحر الضيق. No. طيب. التي بعده. Next turn. تفضل. Next sentence. ولد حسن. Number 9. ولد حسن. ولد حسن. ولد حسن. من يترجمها? Who can translate? The boy is handsome. Oh, تقربتم. Close. Close, super close. ولد حسن. The boy is fine. Close. The boy is good. Not in your translation, in your grammar. Say it again. Hey. Not, hey. Not to translate. Your translation was good. The grammar. Y'all said what? The. There's no the. There's no the. Hey, waladun. A. Alif lam, the. Remember, ikhwan. Alif lam, the. It doesn't mean the, but we're going to understand from that the. Alif lam, the. Al, you hear al, that's the. Al masjidu, the masjid. Al qalamu, the pen. Al jidaru, the wall. Al saburatu, the board. Al khashabu, the wood. Al kitabu, the book. Al, the. Tanween, a. An, in, a. Masjidun, a masjid. Masjidan, a masjid. Masjidin, a masjid. Alif lam, the. No alif lam, tanween, a. So y'all said the boy, the boy. There's no the. So it should be a boy. Something about the boy. What about him? Hasanun. A good boy. It could also be a handsome boy. So some words in Arabic, ikhwan, have multiple meanings. وهذا كثير. That's a lot of times. That's a good point. Good point. طيب. أحيانا كلمة واحدة أو كلمة واحدة لها عدة معاني. One word can have multiple meanings. مثال هذه الكلمة, like this word. ولد. ولد can be a boy. ولد can be a son. Also, there's another word that means son too. Ibn. Ibn can be a son. Ibn can be a boy. Right? So one word can have multiple meanings. I'll give you an easy example of that. يقول الله تعالى بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. طيب. لا تغضبوا علي أنتم. Don't get offended يا إخوان. طيب. I know Jersey Muslims, we fight. Our city, we fight more than y'all. Like, may Allah help us out. May Allah bring the Muslims back to not fighting each other. Wallah. When did we think it was allowed for Muslims to fight? Yeah, Quran. It's not even allowed to scream, to frighten a Muslim. The brother's walking past, and I say, Shaykh wa yamshi al-an, and so khawifuhu. He's walking past, I'm going to scare him. When he gets there, I say, oh! That's haram in Islam. To frighten your brother, a man or a child, it doesn't matter. The brother's walking past, and I say, hey, Bismillah. And he says, oh, Billah. I just committed a sin in Islam by frightening my brother. How much more so fighting your brother? And then most of the time we fight, it's not allowed to fight. What we're fighting about is not allowed. Who we fighting is not allowed. Where we fighting at is not allowed. May Allah help us. Sin on top of sin on top of sin on top of sin. May Allah help us all, yeah. So the word is walad. Walad can be a boy. It can also be a son. So walad can mean ibn, and it can also mean walad. Walad can mean ibn. Ibn can be a son, and it can be a boy. Walad can be a son, and it can be a boy. Like the word, you can see this in every translation. And it's a terrible translation. We'll say that again. The Bismillah. Almost every book you see, may Allah make us all better translators and teach us the Arabic language. You see, Bismillah. The average translator has in the name of Allah. Hada khata. That's a mistake. You open up your translation of the Quran, translation number 1 is wrong. No Arab says that. It means in the name of Allah. They're going to say, yeah. Say it again. In the name of Allah. Doesn't mean that. None of the Arabs say that ba is fi. None of them. Now some say it's musabaha. Some say it's isti'ana. They differ there. But none of them say it means fi. Some say it means seeking Allah's blessing. And some say it means, like if you say, I pass by something like that. Or I pass by with. So it's either it should be with the name of Allah or by the name of Allah. But it should never be in. It's never going to be in. Allah says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. There are many ways to understand Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Many ways, not just one. Not just one. So this shows a word can have multiple meanings. Some scholars say, number 1, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim mean the same exact thing. Allah just said it again to show emphasis. So, by the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most merciful. That's the first way. And that's correct. Right? I'm quoting from Sheikh Uthaymeen, who's quoting from the Imams of the past. First possibility, Ar-Rahim and Ar-Rahman, same meaning. By the name of Allah or with the name of Allah, the most merciful, most merciful. That's the first way to translate this issue. Second way, Ar-Rahman, sifatun li dhatillah, Ar-Rahim, sifatun li fi'lillah. Second possibility. Ar-Rahman, you're describing Allah, not his action, him. With the name of Allah, Ar-Rahman, who is he himself, the most merciful. Ar-Rahim, now you're not talking about Allah, you're talking about his action. His action of mercy reaches all of creation. I don't know how you say that in English. With the name of Allah, by the name of Allah, who is the most merciful himself, whose actions reach the people in a vast way of mercy. And the last way, Rahman is something specific. Rahman is something general. Rahim is something specific. It's a mercy from Allah that encompasses all of his creation. Rahim is for the general of his creation.
So you're saying that's how they translate this?
The ba, most translations have in. It shouldn't be in.
Yeah. And fi in Arabic is in.
It shouldn't be fi. So you shouldn't say in. It should be ba or with. Or you can say seek in. Some scholars say it means to seek Allah's help. So by Allah's names, I'm seeking Allah's blessings by mentioning his name. Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, Ar-Rahim. Like that. No. And that's, some scholars say that's the strongest. طيب, how much time we got, ikhwan? Let's do one more sentence, inshallah. So, waladun hasanun can be one of two things. A good boy can also be a handsome boy. Hasan can be good. Hasan can be handsome. Hasan can be a person's name. So our sheikh is going to call it then we'll finish after that.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Shayun. Yep. Yeah. Shayun. Talk about our last two sentences, ya ikhwan. Inshallah. طيب. Shayun wa qahwatun. Shayun wa qahwatun. Man yutarjimu, who can translate?
Tea and coffee.
Tea and coffee. Now here it does mean a tea in the language, but you can't say that in English. It's not correct in English. فعندما نترجم علينا أن نعلم قواعد اللغة التي نأخذ منها وقواعد اللغة التي تدخل فيها أو ندخل فيها. So when you're translating, this is the tricky part. You have to have some knowledge of the principles and the language you're coming from. And you have to have some knowledge of the language you're coming into or you're translating into. You ever see how some Arab, they have the language, but they're weak in English, so they can't really deliver it. So what he's saying is right, but when he translates it back, like, I don't know what you're saying, yeah. May Allah make it easy. And then sometimes you have the opposite. The brother has some knowledge in English, but you're not making sense in Arabic. So you have to have some knowledge of both. Some scholars say no one can translate unless you have knowledge of both languages or any language that you translate. Ibn Taymiyyah says that. He's real strict, rahimahullah. And that's true, ya ikhwan. You have to have some knowledge of the language you're coming from and some knowledge of the language you're going into. And translating, all you're doing is taking the meaning of the language and conveying it into the other language. So if it doesn't exist, you can't say it. So in English, you can't say a tea and a coffee. You can say a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. So it becomes just tea, the collective form, tea and coffee. You can say a grain of coffee. You can say a tea bag of tea, but you can't say a tea. The Arabs, they can say shayun. That exists in their language. But in English, you can't say a tea. A water becomes a cup of water, a bottle of water. طائع شاي وقهوة. Tea and coffee. Tea and coffee. Next sentence. You can read the next sentence. أحد عشر, number 11. Good. Remember يا إخوان, طيب في العرب الكلمة لا يمكنها أن تكون معرفة ونكرة في نفس الوقت. In the Arabic language, a word can be indefinite and definite at the same time. So you can't say, for example, ashayun is either shayun or ashayu. So it can't be alif lam and tanween, one of the other. Shayun or shayu. Shayu. Hey, so the first one is T. It's really AT, but you can't say that in English, so it becomes T. Now, alif lam, ashayu becomes what? The T. You can say the T. So alif lam means the, or is understood to be the. Al-qahwatu. Alif lam. Al means the. So the coffee. Ashayu wal-qahwatu. The tea and the coffee. فما الفرق بينهما? What's the difference between these two sentences? The A and the. One is definite, one is indefinite. Marifa, nakira. One is definite. Ashayu, the tea. Shayun, tea. So same meaning, well, similar meaning. One is general, tea. Go to the store, you're going to Dunkin' Donuts, give me some tea, akhi. He didn't say what kind. Hey, let me get the, Then they come back, akhi, I didn't want this. You didn't say that. Shukran. Give my $2. One is general. So our phrase for today, ikhwan, one is general, one is specific. Today's phrase we're going to learn is a tremendous phrase. I want you to use it anytime you wish, but especially when someone asks you, how are you? You're going to say, رَضِيتُ بِاللَّهِ رَبًّا وَبِالْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا وَبِمُحَمَّدٍ رَسُولًا. So I want you to practice with this all week. Somebody says, hey, how you doing, Sheikh? You know how we say in Jersey and Philly and East Coast? Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So I want you to add to that. You're going to say, Alhamdulillah, raditu billah, 3 sentences. Raditu billahi rabban, wa bil islami dinan, wa bi Muhammadin rasulan. I'm pleased with Allah as my Lord, and Islam as my religion, and Muhammad as my messenger. So that's our phrase for today, inshallah. So I want you to write it down as quickly as you can, and want you to use it all week. When their brother, hey, how you doing, ya akhi? Oh, hold on, I just learned that in Arabic. Hold on. Let me contact the Sheikh. Abdul Aziz, what did we just learn? Ya akhi, how you forget those sentences? You know I wasn't paying attention anyway. Ala kulli hal. There are many things you can say, but don't be like most of us who say the same thing over and no. Sometimes your heart can get redundant. Like in the Quran, like in the you're praying, you don't say the same surah. Oh, nah. You change it up. The same dua. No. Now your heart can become like tradition, like a custom. Same thing in how are you, akhi? I'm doing good. How are you? I'm doing good. After a while, are you really doing good? Or are you just saying that? So you want it? Huh? I want you to write this down, ya ikhwan. I want you to say it. Everything we learn, I want you to use it. Somebody says, how are you? You're going to say, raditu. I'm pleased. So that's what I want you to say, ya ikhwan. Raditu. Raditu. I am pleased. Raditu. Billahi. Rabban. I'm pleased with Allah. I will make it lamas. Raditu billahi rabban. I'm pleased with Allah as the Lord. Wa bil islami, and with Islam. And with Islam as my way of life. Allahu Akbar. Wa bil islami dinan. So 3 sentences. وَبِالْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا. And with Islam as my way of life. No sukun. Sukun, yep. دِينًا. وَبِ Muhammad وَبِ Mami. وَبِ Muhammad Rasulan. وَبِ Muhammad Rasulan.
And what is that right there? What belly?
وَبِال ورضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد عليه الصلاة والسلام رسولا. So this is a tremendous dua to say. I want you to practice it this week. When someone says, how are you? How you doing today, akhi? Oh, I just learned that. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm pleased with Allah. رضيت بالله ربا, as my Lord. وبالإسلام دينا, and with Islam as my way of life. وبمحمد عليه السلام رسولا, and with Muhammad as my messenger. So this is our homework, inshallah. I want you to practice every time somebody says, how are you? I'm pleased with Allah as my Lord, Islam as my religion, and Muhammad as my messenger. طيب نكتفي بهذا واستعب يا إخوان. وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. For those who are in the back, we can write it down for you after class, inshallah ta'ala. And may Allah bless you all, ya ikhwan. Let's get ready for prayer, inshallah. وفيكم بارك الله. وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت. Okay. Gotta get a copy of this. First steps. Allahu Akbar. I'll make it easy. Oh, and it's color too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My nephew said it was real good paper.
Also, ya ikhwan, we have one announcement, inshallah. We want to change the Maghrib time on Thursdays to Isha time. So we want to delay it an hour
After Isha?
after Isha. So instead of making it at Maghrib, if we can make it at Isha. If that's okay with everyone, then we're going to delay it an hour, just on Thursdays.
That's a me, right?
This one is a me.
And that's a ha.
Second one is a ha. Yep. Me. Wabi Muhammad. طيب. Definition, ikhwan. I am pleased with Allah as my Lord. Here it doesn't mean my Lord. It's understood to be my Lord. It means Lord, but it's understood to be my Lord. And with Islam as my way of life. Wabi Muhammad, and with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulan, as the messenger, meaning my messenger. I'm pleased with Allah as my Lord, with Islam as my way of life, and with Muhammad as my messenger. Finish your homework, finish memorizing your vocabulary, and may Allah bless you all. We make a timer, still going to be an hour, so we're gonna go longer, but